A single drop of seawater falls from the edge of a wave. For a brief moment, it hangs in the air. Sunlight passes through it. The entire sky bends inside it. Then it disappears. Back into the ocean. Most people think the ocean begins at the surface, that endless blue sheet stretching across the horizon, the place where ships travel, where whales breach, where sunlight dances across moving water. But the surface is not the ocean. The surface is merely the invitation. The ocean itself begins where light starts to fail, and beneath that thin blue skin lies the largest living space on Earth. A world so vast that if every mountain, continent, city, road, nation, forest, desert, and human being vanished tomorrow, the ocean would remain largely unchanged. Because the ocean was never built for us. It barely notices that we exist. Tonight, we descend through every major depth of the ocean, from the bright waters where life exploded into existence, to regions so dark, so cold, and so alien that they resemble another planet more than they resemble Earth. A journey measured not just in meters, but in the gradual disappearance of everything familiar. Because the deeper we go, the less the ocean resembles a place, and the more it begins to resemble a force older than civilization, older than humanity, older than nearly every creature that has ever lived. And somewhere in that darkness lies a realization that few people ever consider. We call Earth a planet, but Earth is, and always has been, an ocean world. The sunlight zone, 0 to 200 meters. At first, nothing seems unusual. The water is warm. Sunlight penetrates easily. Waves scatter brilliant patterns across the seafloor. This is the realm most humans know. The realm of coral reefs, sea turtles, dolphins, tuna, sharks, and countless schools of fish moving like liquid metal through blue water. Nearly all marine life depends on this layer, not because it is comfortable, because it is illuminated. For billions of years, sunlight has served as the currency of life. Plants capture it. Animals consume the plants. Predators consume the animals. An endless exchange powered by a star 93 million miles away. Most people imagine the ocean as one giant environment, but researchers noticed something strange. Almost all of the ocean's biological productivity exists within this incredibly thin layer. Imagine shrinking the entire ocean into a skyscraper. The sunlight zone would be little more than the paint on the roof. Everything beneath it exists under increasingly impossible conditions. And yet, that is where most of the ocean actually is. As we descend toward 200 meters, the blue begins to change. Colors disappear one by one. Red vanishes first, then orange, then yellow. Eventually, even green begins to fade. The ocean is slowly deleting reality, not through violence, through absence. And this process has only just begun. The twilight zone, 200 to 1,000 meters. At 300 meters, daylight no longer feels like daylight. The world becomes dim, muted, uncertain. Shapes emerge and vanish. Distance becomes impossible to judge. This region is known as the mesopelagic zone. Most people call it the twilight zone. An appropriate name, because this is where Earth begins to look unfamiliar. Scientists once believed these depths were nearly empty. That assumption turned out to be spectacularly wrong. Every night, something extraordinary happens here. Trillions of animals begin moving upward. Fish, squid, jellyfish, crustaceans. Entire populations rise toward the surface under cover of darkness, then return to the depths before sunrise. It is called the Deal vertical migration, and it may be the largest daily migration on Earth, not by miles traveled, by the number of creatures involved. Every evening, billions upon billions of organisms begin ascending through the darkness. A silent commute occurring across entire oceans. Most humans never see it, Yet it has happened every night for millions of years. Entire civilizations rose and fell while this migration continued unnoticed beneath them. But the twilight zone contains another mystery. Light, not sunlight. Living light, bioluminescence. Tiny flashes appear in the darkness, then vanish. A blue pulse, a green spark, a drifting glow. Many animals here manufacture light themselves. Some use it to communicate. Others use it to hunt. Others use it to disappear. Researchers estimate that bioluminescence may be one of the most common forms of communication on Earth. Think about that. Human civilization is built around visible language, words, screens, symbols. Yet beneath us exists another world where conversations occur through flashes of living light, a language written in darkness, a language humanity barely understands. And below this zone, even that faint glow begins to disappear. The midnight zone, 1,000 to 4,000 meters. At 1,000 meters, the sun is gone, completely. No sunrise, no sunset, no horizon, no weather, no seasons, nothing. Permanent night. Most people imagine darkness as an absence, a simple lack of light. But true darkness feels different. It feels physical, a presence rather than an emptiness. Down here, pressure increases relentlessly. Every 10 meters adds another atmosphere. By 4,000 meters, the pressure exceeds 5,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush an unprotected human instantly. Yet life persists. Not despite these conditions. Because of them. Anglerfish drift through black water carrying biological lanterns above their heads. Vampire squid hover motionless between worlds. Giant squid move through darkness so complete that they remain among the least observed large predators on Earth. Some species live entire lives without ever seeing sunlight. Their ancestors did the same, generation after generation, for millions of years. Imagine a civilization that never witnessed a sunrise, never saw a shadow, never knew what blue looked like. That is not science fiction. That is life in the midnight zone. And even here, we have not reached the ocean floor, not even close. The abyssal zone, 4,000 to 6,000 meters. Eventually, the descent ends, or so it seems. Below us stretches the abyssal plain, an enormous underwater landscape covering much of Earth's surface. Flat, silent, endless. Temperatures hover near freezing. Food is scarce. Life survives mostly on marine snow. Tiny fragments of organic material drifting down from the world above. Dead plankton, microscopic debris, fragments of life, a slow snowfall from another universe. For decades, scientists believed the abyss was barren. Then they discovered hydrothermal vents, cracks in Earth's crust releasing superheated water rich with minerals. Around them, entire ecosystems flourish, not powered by sunlight, powered by chemistry. Life found another way. An entirely different path. A reminder that biology is more adaptable than human imagination. And if life can thrive here, perhaps it can thrive elsewhere, beneath the ice of Europa, within the oceans of Enceladus, in places where sunlight never arrives. The abyss transformed more than ocean science. It transformed our understanding of life itself. Yet deeper regions still remained unexplored. Places so extreme that many scientists doubted complex organisms could survive there at all. They were wrong. The hadal zone, 6,000 to 11,000 meters. The deepest trenches of Earth are not oceans. They are wounds, massive fractures where tectonic plates collide, narrow valleys descending into the planet. The most famous is the Mariana Trench. Its deepest known point, Challenger Deep, nearly 11 kilometers beneath the surface. If Mount Everest were dropped into it, the summit would still remain submerged. At these depths, pressure becomes almost incomprehensible, more than 1,000 times greater than atmospheric pressure. And yet, life exists. transparent snailfish, amphipods, microbial communities, creatures surviving where logic once suggested survival should be impossible. The deeper scientists looked, the more life they found, a pattern repeated throughout the history of exploration. Humans discover a boundary, declare it the limit. Then reality quietly proves otherwise. Perhaps that is the deeper lesson of the ocean. Not that it is mysterious, but that our certainty is fragile, because every generation believes it understands the world, and every generation eventually discovers another trench, another darkness, another hidden layer beneath the one it thought was final. The ocean is not merely water, it is perspective, a reminder that most of reality exists beyond human sight. Even now, we have mapped more of Mars than portions of our own seafloor, not because the ocean is farther away, because it is harder to understand. And maybe that is why it fascinates us. The deeper we descend into the ocean, the more we discover that the journey was never about water. It was about scale. Human beings spend their lives standing on a thin strip of land between sky and sea, quietly assuming they occupy the center of the story. The ocean suggests otherwise. Beneath every ship, every coastline, every nation, every war, every empire, there remains an ancient darkness stretching for thousands of meters, patient, silent, unconcerned. A world that existed before us, a world that will almost certainly exist after us. And somewhere in that darkness, a single drop of seawater is still falling, returning to a place so vast that no map can fully capture it. A place that does not merely surround our world, a place that is our world